Welcome aboard Rocket Ship, the platform with the most relevant content for competitive examinations. This is Rocket Ship IAS Lab, and continuing with our series on answer writing for general studies papers of civil services main examination, we take up a question that you might come across in GS paper 1. Here goes the question. After climate, it is the type of soil that determines what crop will be grown. To what extent the preceding statement applies to India? Illustrate with examples. So you can see this is actually quite an easy question, that in the sense whenever you as soon as you read this question, you can actually recall the example of the black soil and the cotton crop. Basically almost everyone here would be aware of the fact that the cotton crop grows quite well in the black soil that is found in the Deccan region of India. So basically this is going to be quite an easy question which you can attempt, but the catch with these type of questions is that they would appear easy, but you are supposed to give as many examples as you can actually find at the actual exam situation to enrich your answer actually. So this is the prime requirement of these type of questions, that they are easy indeed, but you are supposed to cite as many examples as you can recall. With this, we are introducing our answer by making an observation that is actually attributed to Vladimir Koppen. You can recall that Vladimir Koppen had attempted one of the first, you could say, climatic classifications, and the observation he makes is, it is said that vegetation is the true index of climate. This is a famous statement that is attributed to Vladimir Koppen. The idea can be extended to agriculture and horticulture as well. You can understand very well, as vegetation is the true index of climate, and agricultural crops, or for that matter horticulture or plantation crops, are vegetation indeed. That would mean that climate has a strong control on agricultural, horticultural or plantation crops as well. That is, what type of crop would be grown is primarily determined by local climate. That is just after we are still discussing climate's control on crops. So basically this is the most important determinant of what crop would be raised. At the same time, it is also observed that soil type is perhaps the second most important determinant of type of crop. That is, just after climate, soil type is the second most important determinant of type of crop. And now what is the mechanism of this control? As different crops have different, or for that matter diverse micronutrient requirements. Basically which crop would require what kind of mineral would determine whether that crop would thrive in a particular soil, and if that soil does indeed have that mineral in, you could say, adequate supply, that would mean that crop would thrive in this soil. It is soil chemistry, you can understand very well, as the micronutrient or mineral composition of the soil determines what type of crop would thrive in it. It is soil chemistry that decides what crop will thrive in it. To give you just one example, paddy requires phosphate and potash. The crop of paddy requires phosphates and potash, so it grows well in alluvial soils which are rich in potash and phosphates. Now coming to soil texture, that is whether it is fine grained, coarse grained, etc. Soil texture also determines whether it can retain water, or for that matter there will be waterlogging. If it is actually fine grained, it would mean that it can retain water, and if it is coarse grained, it would actually lose all this water would drain out. On the other hand, if the soil particles are really microscopic, very small, that might lead to waterlogging. For an example, oil seeds and vegetables like tomato, carrot, etc. need well drained soil. Anyone who had some connection with, you could say, villages would recall that the tomato crop, the tomato saplings actually, they die out, they are blighted whenever there is waterlogging. That would mean that tomato would thrive in well-drained soil. The soil crop type relation is quite pronounced. It is quite evident in India's case. Soil and crop typology in India. Basically, we can see what type of soil is found in which part of India would have a strong relation with which type of crop would be grown there. Coming to the, you could say, major soils of India, first is the alluvial loamy soil. When we call a soil loam, it means that it is well proportioned. It is well proportioned soil, that is, it has equal part of fine grained as well as coarse grained soil. That is why it is called, generally it is called loam. It is fine grained, certainly it is fine grained. It is rich in potash and phosphates, and generally it is deficient in nitrogen, as we would see later. The alluvial loam is most suitable for crops like jute, sugarcane and paddy, as we have discussed in the passing that the alluvial loam is suitable for paddy. Apart from it, it is also suitable for jute, sugarcane, etc. Most of you can actually recall that alluvial loam, the alluvial soil is found in northern plains of India and in the river delta, river basins, etc. Then comes the second most important soil type of India, that is the volcanic black soil. It is well aerated, it is fine grained, so it can retain moisture for a long time. It is rich in iron, lime, magnesium, etc. It is called cotton soil. You can understand very well the control of black soil on the cotton crop is so pronounced that it is called cotton soil itself. Basically, most of India's topmost cotton producing provinces are in black soil region. It is found in the Deccan Trap region, which you know is a large volcanic province in India, in the part of Peninsular India. Then come the lateritic soils. These are rich in ferrous compounds. However, they are quite deficient in some, you could say, compounds like nitrogenous, potash, phosphates, etc. Anyway, they are highland soils, so they are well drained. You can understand very well, due to gravitation they are well drained. And the lateritic soils are suitable for tea, coffee, etc. And as we would see later, the impact of lateritic soil on tea and coffee plantations are so pronounced that the tea and coffee regions in India are mostly restricted to lateritic soil regions. Then come the Aeolian soils, Eolian. Generally, this is, you could say, the most accepted, you could say, spelling of Aeolian. It is Aeolian soils, which are fine grained. These are wind deposited soils. They are found on the desert margins, and these are most suitable for oil seeds. Taking up these points in detail, starting with the alluvium loamy soils. These cover the largest expanse in India in the Great Plains and the coastal plains and deltas. The fine loamy alluvium is rich in phosphates and potash, even though it is somewhat deficient in nitrogenous compounds. It is most suitable for sugarcane, jute, cereals, mostly paddy, and in fact wheat, etc. as well. Aptly, you can understand very well, Bengal in the basin of the Ganges as well as in its deltaic, you could say, region, is the largest producer of jute. Similarly, Uttar Pradesh in the Great Plain and Tamil Nadu in Kaveri basin and delta are the largest and fourth largest sugarcane producer. So again, we can see the actual relation between alluvial soil as well as sugarcane production. That is, most of the largest sugarcane producing states in India are actually situated in alluvial soil region, and the two examples being Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. And for your information, the third and the fourth largest sugarcane producing regions are Maharashtra, and the fourth one is Karnataka. And as you can make out, these are black soil regions. So the point is, while black soil too is quite suitable for sugarcane, it is alluvial soil that considers most of the sugarcane producing regions in India. In India, now coming to black soil, the black soil results from weathering of volcanic basalt. So basically it is a volcanic soil. It is well aerated, moisture retaining, it is fine grained, and it can retain moisture for a long time, and it is rich in iron, lime, magnesium, etc. Cotton thrives well in black soil, and as we have discussed, it thrives so well in black soil that the black soil itself has been called, it is called cotton soil as well. As is expected, the largest cotton producing states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Telangana, Andhra and Karnataka are all in black soil region of Peninsular India. Most of the cotton producing regions in India are in the black soil region. Coming to lateritic soils, these are highland soils. Basically these are found in the plateau regions. Well drained, rich in iron compound. You can understand very well, due to gravitation they are well drained. They are rich in iron compounds, even if deficient in nitrogen, potash and phosphate compounds. However, tea and coffee thrive quite well in lateritic soils. These two crops require well drained soils. They cannot actually tolerate waterlogging. That is why they thrive quite well in the lateritic soils. Lateritic soils are found in Meghalaya Highland, Assam region, Western Ghats, etc. These are renowned for their plantations of tea and coffee respectively. Actually, the lateritic soils are found in some particular regions of India, including Meghalaya and the surrounding regions of Assam and West Bengal. Moreover, in the Western Ghats, and as you can recall that Meghalaya mostly centered on Assam as well as the surrounding, and that is the neighboring regions in West Bengal, are the major tea producing regions of India. Similarly, coffee comes from mostly Western Ghats, the leader being Karnataka. Karnataka leads in coffee production. Then, unlike the desert soils that are generally considered poor, the wind deposited fine soils of desert margins are rich in minerals and moisture retaining. They are fine grained and can retain moisture for quite longer compared to the desert soils. Found on the wetter margins of deserts, these sandy, loamy soils can support crops like oilseeds, mustards, groundnuts and so on. Here too we find a strong synergy, basically a strong relation with soil type, as Rajasthan, which is the largest mustard producer, and Gujarat, which tops in groundnut production, both have expansive deposits of aeolian soils. You can understand very well that the aeolian soils are found on the wetter margins of the deserts. So basically they are found in eastern Rajasthan as well as parts of northern Gujarat, etc. And these regions have quite some oilseed production. Rajasthan leads in mustard production. Similarly, Gujarat leads in groundnuts production. So this was all on the control that soils have on particular type of crops that would be raised in a particular region. This has a strong relevance for India, where this relation is actually seen on the ground. This was the entire nub of the argument, which we have supported through quite many examples. This is all for today. We would reassemble for the next lecture in a few days. As usual, we wish you all the best. Thank you.